Okay, so shall I begin?
Yes,
Even
yes, go
though,
ahead.
of course, we're at time. So, all right. Greetings to fellow New York Chin Society members in time zones near and far. Thank you for your presence. Um, Before I begin the meeting, I just wanted to acknowledge that I am on the unceded ancestral lands of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people in the territory known as Huichin, and I honor the confederated villages of Lishan and Mokwema of Ohlone tribe who have cared for this land for countless generations, and I recognize their ongoing struggle for sovereignty and cultural survival. All right. So this Yaji, we gather to honor and hold space for two fellow members who have passed on, dear Miss Yuni Han and dear Mr. Alan Berkowitz. And thus I invite all of you into this time for remembrance, reflections, stories, and shared memories. And I will begin with this offering of incense.
Alan, your voice is still quite soft.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
All right, how is it now?
There's a lot of
You
background noise, but
you
your
might want to turn
No change,
your
please
That's
boost.
somebody else, I think.
yeah, boost. Yeah, probably boost. um, as this incense rises, may its fragrance carry my love and memory to those who have passed. Now, if I may, I would like to share a poem in dedication to Miss Uni Han, Mr. Alan Berkowitz, and to a longtime friend whose wife had passed away in August. That time I thought I could not go any closer to grief without dying. I went closer and I did not die. Surely God had his hand in this, as well as friends. Still, I was bent, and my laughter, as the poet said, was nowhere to be found. Then said my friend Daniel, brave even among lions, it's not the weight you carry, but how you carry it. Books, bricks, grief. It's all in the way you embrace it, balance it, carry it. When you cannot and would not put it down, so I went practicing. Have you noticed? Have you heard the laughter that comes now and again out of my startled mouth? How I linger to admire, admire, admire the things of this world that are kind and maybe also troubled. Roses in the wind, the sea geese on the steep waves, a love to which there is no reply. And that was Heavy by Mary Oliver from Thirst. Um, with me here, I have this lovely orchid. Um, so this is called Oncidium. The genus is Oncidium. It's heaven. It's the Greg's name. The hybrid name is Heaven Sent, and its cultivar name is Redolence. But this is actually one of the parents is a very well-known chocolate-smelling plant, and so this has taken on that scented attribute of one of its parents. You might see these for sale, sort of, I would say in the summertime. It's blooming a little out of season, but they're really great because they do smell a little bit of vanilla and chocolate.
Let's
Uh,
give them their own name, Alan, instead of calling them chocolate or vanilla. Oncidium is one of the few that is fragrant. Thank you.
yeah, and also this is in front of me, but the spike is so long that I couldn't fit it into the frame. This is actually a very rare species from. Oh, I'm sorry. This incense is.
Daffodilium.
Yeah. So this is Pathiopedilum tigrinum, and this is from Yunnan province. It's quite endangered actually. And I used to have two pieces of it, but one rotted away. But I'm thankful that this is large enough to where I have a specimen plant.
Has beautiful foliage. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do send us a photograph.
Oh,
That's
yes.
rare.
Sure. All right. Thank you for that. And next, I would like to invite Peo to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. So I will share my screen first. Then let me see. What's that sound?
Yeah, you're picking up a little feedback, I think, Pale. I don't know. It's you.
Oh, that's my heater. Heater's
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I don't know how to avoid that.
It's okay. It's white noise, not too bad.
So, thanks to our President Alan Yip for suggesting this Yaji in memory of Uni. It gave me the opportunity to gather my memories of her. I first met Uni at New York Chin Society Yaji in 2009. And the last time I saw her was in August 2024. When Homei and I visited her at a care center in northern New Jersey. I have collected some cherished moments from this 15 years of friendship and created a video a little over 5 minutes long, edited with my Qing playing of Yi Gu Ren. I focused on the Yaji she hosted or attended that I personally experienced, highlighting one or two photos from each event, and also included images from her funeral at her former home. Though through these images, we see Yuri's deep love for the Guqin and for traditional Chinese arts, calligraphy, qigong, and archery. She was joyful and hospitable, passionate, and unwavering in her dedication to the Guqin. Her idealism and commitment to following Mr. Yuan Zhongping's path in Qing practice never wavered. Last month, Yuni's lawyer contacted us to inform us that she had left a legacy to the New York Qing Society. It has now been formally deposited, and I'm deeply moved. Even in her passing, Yuni remembered the society she loved, and we are profoundly grateful. Words cannot fully capture her spirit. Please enjoy the video.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Theo. Now I'm going to add a few comments about Uni as a person, if I may, using your slides.
Sure.
Han, her Chinese name pronounced in Chinese is Han Ren.
台润一
Yeah.
润一
Uni, in a way, it's we have two unis. I will say one, our uni is spelled with a Y, and we have Uni, who is our vice president, spelled with a J. So we don't want to get them mixed up. But here, when we see her Chinese name, we'll remember her with a Y. Next, please. I think when Uni heard Yuan Zhongping and Gu Qin music, it gave her an outlet to her spirit, which was previously nurtured in quiet, I think, because remember, she was trained and worked as an accountant, and accountants work with numbers and bottom lines and figures. But inside, Uni was nurturing something else. While she was working in New York, she also practiced pottery. Let's go to the next. And the most important thing in her retirement was the building of the Zhongdao Tang, the studio in upstate New York that she named after Zhongping. Zhongdao is one of Zhongping's names. Now, please hold at this because I want to describe that to get to Uni's property was quite a trip. For someone like me coming from Washington, I had to make several changes and then depend on others, whether by car or by train. And then Uni had to meet me in Middletown, where we had to drive back maybe 2 hours to the actual studio in the mountains. And this was important. The very fact that it was up in the mountains in wilderness was so important, so that it set a pattern Now you're looking at a studio that's built, but who built it? Yuni built it. She designed it. She chose the materials, the floors, and the walls. She tried to use as much of bamboo as possible. She designed the whole area. If you go back for a minute, you'll see how spacious it is, how important the windows are placed so that we can appreciate the sunset. She had a porch on which grew wisteria, and she had set up the walls so that chin could be hung. There was a bathroom and even a shower so that those who stayed overnight could sleep on the tatami mats. But her choice, she worked with the contractors. So she built it. I say she built it with the workmen. That's so important because this was separate from the house that Mrs. van der Graaf had purchased on the land. Now, I don't know how many acres, but if we move to the next slides where we see the deer and the area, the important thing was that Uni built a pond in front. I don't think we have pictures of a pond, but that whole grassed area. Now, stay with this slide here because you mentioned that we always had good things to eat, either brought by friends or cooked by Uni herself. Chinsho. Chinsho. She went into the kitchen. Now, do you see all the food and the dishes on the table? Uni was a potter. Uni was not only an accountant, a person who dealt with numbers, but she dealt with physical things. So she studied pottery while she was in New York, and she said all of these pots were made while she was in New York City because she had a kiln there. She did not have a kiln up in upstate New York at Zhongdaotang, but she brought all of these handmade potteries with her so that whenever she sat at the table with the 好吃的东西, she had her 手做的陶瓷. Her pottery was always beautifully tactile, so that you not only ate with your taste buds, but you ate with your eyes. So that's so important to remember. And then number two, I think it's quite serendipitous that Alan is an agronomist, a professional agronomist with a degree. I would call Uni a natural agronomist. Everything that she touched grew and prospered. For example, this plain field in front, she saw it as a place not only for cultural activities, to express yourself in nature in whatever way you want, but in cultural matters like you have a shot of her here, people practicing Taiji Chuan. She was very much into what nurtured the body as well as the spirit. So whenever we went to one of these Yaji, they were also outdoor activities whenever the weather permitted it. And we don't have a view of the pond, but she actually had a pond dug in that front space. There, you see a little bit of it. Oh, good. On the Chichi, on the seventh of the seventh month, in that last one. And you see that animals just love the area. So she not only had beasts of feathers from the air, but she had beasts on the ground to come. And I remember seeing out of the window of the studio for the first time. Let's have one of the next slides. You have a slide of the, okay, let's keep going. There's one of the deer. Well, we may have passed it, but herds of deer, here they are. This is a grand one with in an autumn setting with his beautiful antlers, but herds of deer with their young would come from the forest and gently, very quietly creep up to the pond. And we could watch it from the studio that you see on the left because she had placed the windows just so to view the pond, to view the sunset. Uni is on the far left there. this young gentleman, I think, is the one who did the archery, who brought the archery materials. I don't know every face. Here's Renjie,
Was
and
it Henry?
Harry archery.
okay,
Yeah.
yes, there's Renjie standing, and Stefan, and there's Ralph, our technical man. Uni is sitting on the front steps, and to Uni's right is Ralph's wife, and here I am, and here's Peo in the front steps with John in the back. So this is the kind of feeling that you get whenever you went, and for those who've been there in winter, that's also a special thing to have her. Yep, we have the other Uni, okay, now in Chinese dress. But you see how happy people are when they enter that space, because it was such a welcoming space. And we have members here which we don't see anymore. And we hope this memorial to Uni, these remembrances will also attract our new members. In this slide, I want to point out that in the purple top with the white sweater is Home, who accompanied Heyo to see Uni in her last days. And
Right.
that's so important because we couldn't do that. And you see her there toasting us. You see how white her hair had become, and she's so changed, but we still remember her. So thank you so much, Heyo. And now I can't do this because I have not had a chance to read it. I didn't know that Zhongping had written this memorial. So Peo has a link here to Zhongping's letter to Uni. And remember, she built the Zhongdao Tang, that retreat in upstate New York in that beautiful setting, as a token and naming it after Zhongping to show how much he owed to him in terms of just releasing all the important things in her life, whether it was Taiji doing it with Renjie to convey it to others. So her spirit of generosity came in many ways, and I didn't have any photographs of her flowers. She had flowers there season round, whether it is in winter with amaryllis blooming, or anything she touched would grow. And you'd always see the earliest winter things coming up out of the snow. So she had a magic touch with nature. So let me call her, in deference to Alan Yip, our president, an amateur agronomist. She was a natural one in which was totally released in her spirit. So thank you, Uni.
Thank you, Marilyn. Renjie, do you want to say something? Renjie, you mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Uni is not only the Chin Society member, is dear friend, and we share a lot in common, and like gardening, Tai Chi, other than Kuching. So I've been there many times. I forgot. Uni always very friendly and attentive to us. I remember vividly. One day was big snow. Ralph's car stuck in the slope, so have to be leave everybody go up to Zhongdao Tang, sleep in the tatami overnight because black ice nobody can go, and of course Uni bring everything that make us warm and feed us. It's just a wonderful place. That place has a special meaning for everybody. Go there, enjoy the nature, and gorgeous views, and the ride is beautiful. Besides kind of whining and dangerous during the winter. Also, I share Taiji with her, and we studied the Chen style with Wang Haijun, and we've been together practice for a long time. Um, yeah, in the late days, and I could I couldn't help more than she had difficulties to deal with the property and some cars, whatever. I did few things, I whatever I can to help her, but unfortunately she couldn't hold longer and she passed, leave with us. But her beautiful memory always in our mind, and that's the besides the Qing, and actually that is the Qing spirit of the art and our life. That's all I will see. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So, Alan, you want to play the music?
Yeah, who would, I guess I'll start and somebody will continue along.
Uni.
Okay. Here, let me switch my camera. Okay, I think my yeah, we'll be sight reading this. Maybe next person? I'll just do the intro. Next, feel free to play the second verse, whoever would like.
Uni, I'm going to interrupt you because your video is not showing your guqin. It's showing the background.
Ah, yes.
And it's cutting off your chin. Now we can see it when you put your hand there, but I'm sorry to disturb you, but it was a little disconcerting.
Yes. One moment then. Let me turn off the virtual background. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uni.
Next, please.
Next.
So I think we can move on to the in memory of Alan Berkowitz.
What about when do we do John? Is that now?
John,
John has a video.
that's for
Oh, that's for Alan. I'm sorry.
Right,
My
right.
confusion. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I will still again share my slides about Alan I remember, and then Marilyn will continue after me. So let me share my screen again. So how quickly time passes, right? It has been 10 years since Mr. Alan Berkowitz left us. I first met Mr. Berkowitz in 2000, year 2000, and shortly after I began studying the Qing with Master Yuan. At the time, Mr. Berkowitz was learning Pingsha Luo Yan. Once we happened to attend a Qigong class together. I arrived early, while Alan had not yet finished his lesson, so Master Yuan had the two of us practice some simple Qigong together for the final 10 or 15 minutes. This is my earliest memory of him. In November 2002, at the China Institute, Mr. Berkowitz gave a talk titled Qing Players of Yore and Their Lore. Unfortunately, my English was not very good at that time, and even now it's still not very good. So I feel sorry that I don't remember the details of the talk clearly. The text is taken from the New York Qing Society archive, so you can go there and take a look. And the biography of Mr. Berkowitz published in November 2002 New York Qing Society Journal. I will not say more here and will leave the rest to others. Today I would like to share a few memories of Mr. Berkowitz as I remember him. This photo was taken in July 2002 when we visited the Fear Gallery in Washington, D.C. Mr. Berkowitz always spoke in careful, standard Chinese. He was gentle, refined, and scholarly, an impression that never changed. I met him several times at New York Qing Society Yaji gatherings, and those moments remain vivid in my memory. At that time, his son was still in elementary school. After the Yaji, members often had dinner together at Grand Sichuan in Midtown Manhattan. On one occasion, he brought his son with him, and the quiet warmth and affection between father and son were deeply touching. Mr. Berkowitz lived in Philadelphia. Because of the distance, he couldn't attend every New York Chin Society Yaji. Still in 2004, around the Lunar New Year, shortly after we had moved to Rahway, New Jersey from Brooklyn, New York, he drove more than 2 hours to attend our housewarming party, and I was deeply moved. In 2009, he and his wife also made a special trip to attend a Yaji I co-hosted at the home of a friend who was an African art collector. At that day, I remember telling Mr. Berkowitz that I had bought his book on Wei Jing recluses on Amazon. With his characteristic modesty, he said that the book was, quote, very dry, end quote, and difficult to read. I told him I had only read the preface and felt I could understand it. He felt that if he had known that, he would have sent me the preface first, so I wouldn't have had to spend money on the whole book. In truth, as he said, the book was indeed challenging. I later chose to read several Chinese works on reclusion first, thinking that returning to the English text might make it easier. Unexpectedly, when I picked up his book again 6 years later, I learned that he had passed away while traveling in Taipei. 2 days ago, I opened his book again and had ChatGPT translate the lines he quoted from Salvador di Giacomo before the acknowledgments. So I would have Andre supposed to read these lines in blue.
For sure.
Andre?
Per Titina, sentiti, io mi so fatto una votata e certi antichi libri studioso, c'è piglio di gusto e c'è passo annotata. Salvatore di Giacomo, amore abbassato.
Thank you. And Titina is Alan's wife. And here I have ChatGPT translated for me. 2 English translation and 2 Chinese translation. I will read the one of each, and that I will read the one that has the earthy tone. Listen. Every now and then I get it into my head to dig into some of those old, heavy, learned books. I start to take a real liking to it, and next thing I know, I've spent the whole night at it. And the Chinese, I will pick the 市井感。嘿，听我说，我这人嘛，偶尔也会自己找罪受，去啃几本又老又难啃的书，越啃越有味。回过神来，天都亮了。I found deeply touching, almost as if I could see Mr. Berkowitz's earnest and devoted spirit. The last time we saw Mr. Berkowitz was on June 8, 2014, at a Yaji held at the home of Mr. John Thompson. Everyone was delighted to see him again after such a long absence. He looked full of vitality. We talked about his visits to Taiwan and about how his son had already graduated from college and found a job. None of us could have imagined that this would be the last time we would meet and chat so casually. Mr. Berkowitz owned these 3 Qing, and John was helping Titina find new owners for them. So, and the last one is Swarthmore College had a report on Mr. Berkowitz, and I can post a link in the chat room for anyone interested. Thank you. That's the Alan Berkowitz I remember. So Marilyn, if you want to continue and I can share the slides again, right?
Yes, I'm going to.
Something.
I'm so delighted that Teo posted not only her remembrances of Alan, but the important thing was what he left to posterity in printed form. That is his book. Let's see that book cover again. Here it is. Pattern of Disengagement, the practice and portrayal of reclusion in early medieval China. Talking about Yinju, process of reclusion, which is such a key element in poetry from the very earliest period. And so on the cover of his book, I have to say, first of all, before I go into the book, we must remember that Allen was trilingual. He spoke not only English, but Italian and Chinese, and not only spoken Chinese, but classical. So his feelers were in several different parts of the country, of the globe. And among the Italian, which quote so beautifully here, and he had dedicated his book to his wife, Titina, is the fact that he would have in his background not only Chinese poetry of Tao Yuanming, which is illustrated here, and all of the early poetry, but Dante. So the whole history of Italian literature, as well as Chinese literature, and not to mention English literature, was at his fingertips. So Allen was much more than a mere scholar, a literatus. He was a person engaged in life, and food was important to him, and he was among the first to mention slow food culture, which is only now beginning to catch on. So the Allen Berkowitz that I remember was a complete person, not just a PhD, but a person who used his knowledge and curiosity to look into various forms of culture. So on the cover of his book, the penultimate recluse, Yinju, is Tao Yuanming, Tao Qian, and his most famous poem is 归去来辞. His ability to disengage himself from his livelihood, that is, being a civil servant to Chinese culture and the Confucian system, to return to his beloved field and become a country farmer, a gentleman, and to be away from the noise of carts, and in his famous poem, to be away from horse and cart noise, but rather to engage in matters of the heart and of the stomach, shall we say, which are so important. So let's remember Alan, who was one of the original members of the group. You notice that it goes all the way back to 2002. Here, in this visit to the Freer Gallery, now known as the National Museum of Asian Art, I was able to arrange a storage visit for New York Chin Society members. And this was on the occasion of a very important exhibit together by Jenny So, the curator at the time, and the director, Milo Beach. Milo Beach was one of the few directors and the last one to allow scholars into storage to play the instruments. So here is Tim Kirk, the technician of the museum at the time. Here's Alan, John Thompson. We have two of our presidents, Stephen Dido, and a former member who wrote an article in the catalog. This is Bo Lauergren, a physicist. And here I am in this Chinese white top. And in front of us, we have three of the several chins. There are only two that could be actually played, and one was strung, one from that is supposed to be a Tang Dynasty chin, not displayed here, but was restrung for the exhibition. And one of the chins, dating from the Ming Dynasty, gift from Mr. Yip in Hong Kong was set up for us to play. And I think several of us were able to play the chin. So here's Alan. Let's say goodbye to him and thank everyone who had any part. And I want to remember among the players of Iguren is Cheng Gong Liang, also who was one of the early players of the Guqin and very influential master who played with silk strings. And Iguren was his most famous piece, his most favorite. He always played it. So I want to thank Alan for playing that first portion, to Peyo, and to Uni. Remember Alan.
Thank you.
Someday I have to borrow the book from you because I don't think it's available on Amazon anymore. Anyway.
Yes, it's
Only $83. I just looked. It's still there. Expensive
Still
though.
there. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Bye-bye.
so now we can thank you. We can share John's Zhao Ying, seeking a recluse.
I'm having trouble hearing.
So Andre is still trying to share.
Rob, did you play? I think the part for Rob.
Oh, Rob, are you able to play?
Yeah? Oh, I can play. Just a second. I'll share my screen in just a second. Hold on. Oh.
That's very nice.
Could I say something?
Sure.
Okay. I don't think I could add much to what Marilyn said. I thought that was wonderful. I think I met Alan. I must have met Alan corresponding about questions on my website, and because I actually just checking on my website. I mentioned him in connection with I think 8 Melodies, and in other places on the website. He sent me a copy of his book, and can you read what he inscribed?
Can we change the? Yeah. Okay.
For John, they all played the chin, of course.
Right.
Please let me know of any corrections, Alan.
Oh, right. Yes. That was in the Chinese part. Yes. I have an idea. I might be wrong. That was after that he joined the Chin Society, because that was around the time I came back to the U.S. and I can't say often, but not infrequently, visited him down at Swarthmore. On another page of those 3 chins, I think you showed a picture of the 3 chins, his 3 chins, which are now,
Yes.
I think either they're all sold or 2 of them are sold. But I have I recorded a melody, Jingguan Yin, a contemplative intonation, something like that. I recorded that using those 3 chins. I recorded it 3 times, one with each of those chins, and they have a nice sound. Although one of them had metal strings, the other 2 had silk strings. I have been in touch with Tina, his wife, since then, and also I don't think I've seen his son. She's still living in Philadelphia and teaching Italian. Their son Norian did a PhD in something like, I can't remember, it was either economics or communication or maybe both, because he's a professor at Baruch College, but also giving private coaching to people in business.
That's great that you've been in touch, John.
One other thing that's not specifically about Alan is about the Smithsonian. I just wrote a review for Galpin Journal, which is a music instrument journal, of the book by Young and Jun about the instruments, the 9 chins in the Smithsonian. I visited there just before I went off to Hong Kong in October, and there it's the book. It's a very, very good book. It's published by the Smithsonian, and my review is going to come out in February. When I visited there, they brought out all of the chins. They said it was the first time they'd done that in quite a while, but they still don't want people to play them.
Yes, because it's a different director. It's not Milo Beach. I mentioned that Milo was the last director to allow that.
Right.
I missed you in October. I was in Taiwan at the time.
Right. And one of the points that I make in my review is that music instruments are not just art objects, but they're music instruments. And how can you preserve them without preserving the sound? That they really need to do a document the sound at a minimum. And they said they would like to do that, and they're discussing that.
Great.
Whether that will happen, I don't know. But I said that I tried to demonstrate how that's not going to put instruments under much stress. I mentioned that while I think it was my first visit, which was before the Chin society. We went down there. I was able to play for I don't know, 20 seconds or 30 seconds on their metal string, not metal string, metal, not the bronze, but the iron, I guess it is.
Yeah,
Not steel?
not steel. No,
Couldn't be steel, no, because it's very old.
it's iron. Yeah, no, you're
Must
right.
be iron, yeah, the iron chin. And I made the comment, which I think holds true, that if you just put it in isolation, it's not that great a sound. But when you
Die.
put
It will die.
what
It needs human touch. Yes,
what?
it needs the human touch, and it needs to vibrate.
Well, no, but even when you do that, when I played it, I thought, well, that sound is people are not going to swarm to listen to that sound. But it was. I mean, if you know the history of the instrument, just hearing it was something very special. I thought, and really should be documented. And I put
Wait,
that
is that an
also.
iron body chin or iron string?
Sorry,
No, iron-bodied uni, please.
iron body. Yeah,
Wow.
I think it had silk strings actually, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
John, instead of lingering on that topic, could you please send us an advance review, a copy of your review, so that we can read it and so that you can get some backup from the rest of us? I'm sorry I missed you when you came in October because getting to see things in storage now is very difficult because they have a different director, somebody who's not oriented toward objects. So I hope your review does influence him. Thank you.
Well, just one other thing that I said in it. I mentioned my first experience of hearing an antique chin, which I probably discussed here before. I was visiting Lo Ka Ping in Hong Kong and playing on some of his antique, and the one of them in particular, I would just play a sound, and that sound would be so beautiful, and I was in no hurry to hear the next sound. That just playing a few sounds, you don't even have to play a complete piece. I mean, then hopefully maybe if you play a few sounds, they'll think it's okay to play a complete piece. But it really should be. That's something they really should include. The Metropolitan has added some recordings with their chin online pictures, but they're usually not of that chin. It's if they link it to another performance of a metal string chin just playing some modern melody. I mean, I should say contemporary tradition melody, not an antique melody.
Well, you could add that we made a visit to the Metropolitan, and we did have a chance to play their what's the name of that chin? Lu.
No, no,
Yeah.
Not Luang Qing.
Yes, thank you.
yeah. You did play it?
They put it on a typing table, a metal typing table, and we had a chance to play it. I don't know if that same curator is there, but we had a very brief visit. Were you not present? I thought you were
I was
present.
there. I was there. I don't remember playing the instrument.
If I remember it, it happened. So
Okay.
it was just not a performance. We were just tuning it, that sort of thing. He put it on the metal typing table, which I thought was so strange.
Okay. Well, I have submitted the review, so that's going to come out in, I think, March.
We don't have copies of whatever it's going to be printed in. So could you send us an advance copy, please? Thank you.
I guess I can. I don't know what the rules are about that sort of thing.
You are the author. You are the author.
Okay. Well, I was planning to link it. I was planning to link it on my website, but maybe just emailing it to the group as an attachment. I can do that.
Thank you.
Then you can tell me what I should have said. But you should also read the book in connection. The book is published by the Smithsonian.
I have a copy, and we had a
Oh,
section on it.
okay, great.
Yes, we did.